Today, we've got an absolutely incredible story for you. It's about a 57-year-old creator who took a lifelong struggle, a thing that held him back for decades, and turned it into a game-changing tool that's leveling the playing field in the world of AI.
And this quote, this is basically the life motto of the guy behind our story. It's the whole idea that drove him from being completely shut out by technology to building a bridge for literally everyone who's ever been told no.
So to really get why he built this tool, you first have to understand the challenge he's been facing his entire life. It's a struggle that made our modern world, a world built on words, feel like a constant, exhausting uphill battle. He basically describes himself as someone born with a wench in his hand. You know, a doer, a builder. He learned by taking things apart and putting them back together. Get this, at just 8 years old, he was already fixing cars. No instruction manual needed. He could just figure it out. But this was his day-to-day reality. Can you even imagine having to memorize every single word just to be able to read? He ended up dropping out of school in 10th grade because it was just too much. And it took until he was 33 years old to even get an official diagnosis. So this wasn't just a small hurdle. It was this huge, fundamental barrier to communicating with the world. Okay, so let's fast forward to today. The AI revolution happens, right? And it comes with this huge promise to unlock creativity and knowledge for everyone. But for him, this new world just felt like a very, very familiar and frustrating problem. And this slide lays it out perfectly. On one side, you've got the incredible promise of AI, create anything you can dream up. But on the other side, the reality for so many people is just a wall. A wall of confusing prompts that require what he calls 50-cent words. You know, that specific fancy vocabulary that a lot of us just don't have. And the results? They were often just stressful and totally not what you wanted. He said it felt like he wasn't just using a tool. He was in an actual fight. He'd put his boxing gloves on and he would type something simple like red apple, and the AI would spit back a green apple that looked like a banana. It just felt like the whole system was rigged against him from the very start. So what was the real breaking point? You know, what's the thing that pushes someone from just being frustrated to actually doing something about it? Well, the final straw came when he tried to help other people. He wanted to make some TikToks to teach prompt engineering, but he realized he couldn't even explain it in a way that made sense. His own videos just felt totally meaningless. And that's when it hit him. The tools that were out there were completely failing people like him. So he figured if the tool he needed didn't exist, well, he was just going to have to build it himself. He was going to build his very own bridge to get over that AI wall. And what he did was brilliant. He broke down the super complex art of prompt engineering into 5 simple questions that anybody can answer. So instead of staring at that scary blank text box, his app just walks you through it, one step at a time. It asks you about the AI's role, the context, the task. It's just a logical, easy-to-follow sequence. But here's the app's real secret weapon, its vocabulary bank. He knew that even with the right structure, people with a limited vocabulary would still have a hard time. So he built a feature to give them those 50-cent words they needed to make their ideas really pop. It's basically an intelligent thesaurus made just for AI, suggesting better, more precise words to really elevate what you're trying to say. So for example, you might type in something simple like sunset glow, and the app will suggest a more cinematic term like golden hour glow. Or glowing plants becomes bioluminescent flora. See? It's not about changing your idea. It's about translating it into the exact language that the AI understands best. And what started out as a personal tool for himself, it pretty quickly turned into something so much bigger. He realized this wasn't just about solving his own problem. It was about serving this huge community of people who were being overlooked. It became a mission. This app was built for the underdogs. It's for anyone who's ever felt like technology was built for somebody else. For anyone who wants a better life but feels like they're being held back by the words they just don't know. And the audience for this is just massive. We're talking people with dyslexia, non-native English speakers, older adults just getting into tech, and really, anyone who's ever felt intimidated by that blinking cursor on a blank screen. It's for, well, the rest of us. You know, this story is so much more than just one guy building an app. It's a huge lesson in how we design things. A reminder that when we build for the people on the margins, we often end up building better things for everyone. It just goes to show that our biggest challenges can become the very things that give us the power to build the solutions we need most. And that leaves us with a question for you. What lifelong no in your world is just waiting for you to find a way to turn it into a yes?